edition of the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders Podcast, a.k.a. The Whip Show. You know what it is. I am Deshaun Whip Dog Whipple, and I'm here with my tag team partner.
Devastating. Daryl Pace here.
See, this week, he's in the wrestling library.
Oh, yeah.
He's not in the control center. He's in the wrestling library because that's our historian right there. That boy is Mike Tenay, Conrad Thompson, rode and won. You dig? Well, on this episode, as y'all know, we're Wrestling Heroes and Insiders. We've had some amazing... Whoa. Daryl, what's going on over there, bro? What's up with the red solo?
No. I don't want to fool you. This is just water. This is water.
Don't be taking the Street Profits gimmick, man. We don't do that here, baby. Nuh-uh.
Hey, is this season 2 or season 3? Man, I'm getting ready for season 3 over here. We don't know what's going on.
Okay. Well, like I said, guys, you know what it is. We're the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders. We've had tons of wrestling superstars on the show. We've had Alpha Jr. We've had C.W. Anderson. A load of wrestlers. Mike the Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
The man.
Exactly. We've had the man. We've had Gilbert. We've had Randomania. But we also like to have heroes on the show. People that put a pro wrestling event together. We've had WWE production assistants. We've had Jimmy Noonan, director of security. But we've never had somebody that does theme music, Daryl. And Daryl, on this episode, we got this young man. I found out about him. He's a podcast host. The boy does music. The boy does it all. Can we give it up for Mr. Antoine Moore, a.k.a. Monteasy? What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Man, thank you for having me on. I am more than blessed and thankful for you guys reaching out to me to come on to the show, man. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. How you guys doing?
I'm hanging in there, baby. Daryl?
I'm doing great, man. Like I said, in here in the library, man, doing some research on wrestling music, man. So I think you're going to fill me in for all the gaps I got, man.
I got you, King. No problem, man. Thank you guys for having me on, man.
Now, fellas, don't judge me because tonight I went up somewhere, got me a nice bottle of apple pie wine. So I'm a little dessert wine while we talking. You know what I'm saying? The King's going to discuss this over a good bottle of wine with the
Is that Ripple? You got Ripple? What is that?
Oh, my God. Shut up, man. Shut up. Anyway, first of all, Antoine, what's going on the show? But we always like to start here, man, because like I said, you done some theme music. But before we go there, I got to ask you, what was your initial connection to pro wrestling? What made you enjoy wrestling in the first place, man?
Great question. Well, you know, my grandpa at the time, he was a big wrestling fan. And him and my grandmother used to always punch in a lot of the pay-per-views and stuff like that, like early 90s when I was like 2 or 3 years old, you know? So they actually got me turned on to wrestling, and ever since I was a little boy, I've been watching it. So when I was about 4 or 5, they started taping a lot of the WWF pay-per-views. So my very first wrestling tape that I have, it's in storage now. It says Antoine's Wrestling Tape 1992. So that tape was the Monday Night Raws going into Hogan's supposedly pre-retirement into WrestleMania 8 when he was supposed to wrestle Sid Justice. So my very first pay-per-view that I remember distinctively watching was WrestleMania 8 at the Hoosier Dome with Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper, Shawn Michaels, Tito Santana, Undertaker, Jake the Snake. So that's probably one of my favorite pay-per-views. That was the very first one I remember. And it was on a VHS tape. So when I was younger, my family used to always tape them. They used to order them and tape them for me. So I remember I had SummerSlam 93, WrestleMania 10, Austin. I distinctively remember King of the Ring 1996. I was 8 years old. And that was the night that Stone Cold won the King of the Ring and did the Awesome 316. That was on my birthday, he said that, June 23rd. So I will never forget those moments. And so ever since those days as a little kid, I always had those memories and stuff like that. So it just stuck with me watching it, you know. And my earliest goes back to watching my greatest of all time, Bret Hart, come out with the black jacket, the pink tights, you know, and he was the reason why I became a wrestling fan. He was everything to me growing up. Bret Hart still is everything to me now. Just the way he wrestled, and during that time, I grew up in a new generation era, so that was the guy that got me into wrestling. And
You're going to get a lot of buy-in from me because I'm certainly a Bret Hart fan. We talk every episode here. We're talking about Bret Hart, or I'll bring up the Dynamite Kid in this show. So no, happy to hear that. No, go on.
Absolutely, man. And so it's been a journey, man. Obviously, me being in my about to be mid-30s, I've been watching it forever. You know, I've been through the ups and downs of wrestling. Me and my grandmother, we watch it each and every week. We have our ups and downs. We cuss out the TV or we enjoy it. So like everybody else. So you know, nothing much has changed on that end. So you know, I've been a fan my whole life, man. And it's been a long journey though. It's been a long, fun journey, and this has been my safe haven for me.
Nice. Well, I know you also do hip hop, man, and we gonna bring the bridge together. But you grew up like in wrestling. Were you a big hip hop fan too, obviously? And who was your guy in hip hop?
Yes. My family, man. See, growing up, I grew up in New York, so that's where I was born at. So a lot of my tastes come from then, and my grandmother used to play a lot of old music and stuff growing up. So I grew up on a whole lot more than hip hop. Before I knew who hip hop was, I knew who like Bobby Womack and Michael Jackson and all the legends were. You know what I'm saying? Before I knew what hip hop was. So when I was younger, I knew who Luther and Marvin Gaye was before I knew who Rakim and Biggie was. But as I got older, you know, I started getting into hip hop music as I got older. And a lot of my favorites was Method Man, you know, Nas, Jay-Z, 50 Cent. I mean, you name it. And even older than that, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Kool G Rap, a lot of the older legends too. So a lot of hip hop ended up blending into my household, and really a lot of my inspirations were really the mixture of funk, R&B, soul, and hip hop. Hip hop just happened to be the one that I was most talented at, and I worked the hardest to get good at. And you know, I wasn't blessed to have like an amazing singing voice, but I knew I could put words together. So rapping ended up being the caveat I chose. So with the wrestling, the hip hop came along with it. So around those times, developing in my youth, both of them was congruent with each other. Hip hop and wrestling, like they were 1 and 2 for me.
Okay. Now I gotta ask you then. Growing up, did you get into that backyard wrestling? You know that stuff what I'm talking about. You and your homeboys just trying to put shows together. Did y'all do any of that when you was younger or no, man?
No, a lot of my friends did. I didn't want to get hurt. I didn't want to get hurt, but I watched a lot of my friends who had. I got one of my best friends named Josh. He used to do that really heavy, so I used to watch him sometimes do it. And those guys went too far, man. I couldn't do it, man. I just, you know, I'd watch it, but it was just not me, man. I was like, look, me getting in the ring doing something physical was just not my thing, brother. I knew my limitations very young, and I stuck what I was good at.
I ain't mad at that, man. Well, you talked about that blend of hip hop and wrestling. Let's see how far you really go back. When I say a name, let's see if that reminds you of anything. WWF Aggression CD.
Yes, Aggression CD. That was 2000, 2001. That was all hip hop CD. They did the all hip hop wrestling CD. That was the WWE that had the Gangrel thing. They had a Dub C on the Stone Cold remix. Man, that album is basically the template of what I do now. That's basically the template of what I do.
Oh man, and I'm glad you said that because that's what I wanted to go into. Now I got some of your videos playing in the background, so if y'all watch it on YouTube, you'll be able to check the videos out. Make sure you go to his YouTube page and everything. But now I saw you got a Roman Reigns song. You got Orange Cassidy. Like now, were you making songs about wrestlers before they ever called you, or did you get called by AEW first? Then you start doing more stuff. What was the timeline?
Oh no, man! I did this. I was like, so look, man. Let me give you the the 100% truth on how this all started. I was doing this in 2014, man. It was me. And I sat back one day. I was talking to my grandmother, and I said, Grandma, I'm going to write a song about this guy named Roman Reigns. And at the time, she wasn't really watching wrestling like that. But we ended up looking at him on TV. Said, yeah, if you write a song about him, that'll be great. This was 2014. And I ended up just randomly writing a song about Roman Reigns. One day, I was my son was about 2-3 years old at the time. He was about to get dropped off to me, and I was watching the Royal Rumble 2013, with the one where Rock beat CM Punk and won the strap. So this is obviously when the Shield debuted, and Roman Reigns is wearing the black shirt, and I'm like, who is that dude? So I did some of my research, and I just went on Wikipedia, looked up stuff on Roman Reigns, and I literally just shot it in the dark, man, and just put it out there. In 2014, I just put the song out there, and it just went viral on its own. I didn't have no crazy marketing plan. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, look, I'm just going to go to the studio and write the song about Roman Reigns, shoot the music video, and just put it out there. So what I did was, man, I did it the old-fashioned way. I wanted to start in the indies. I burnt CDs like any other artist would do, and I was standing outside of wrestling promotions the old-fashioned way. Hey, man. I started in Maryland. My best friend lived in Maryland at the Bret Hart meet and greet, a place for MCW in Maryland. I burnt some CDs. I stood outside, and while the wrestlers were coming in, I was passing out CDs. Hey, I make theme songs. I do it for free just to get my name out there. And that's how I started. I started from the very bottom. I felt like I needed to have a good relationship with the business to see what a lot of the guys went through, and to see and I wanted to start to build a relationship there. I didn't want to just make songs and kind of just go to the quotation top. I wanted to start in the trenches with everybody else. So what I did, I gave my CD out to guys. I ended up making the CD. I ended up making songs to about 3 or 4 guys in that locker room. Word spread, and it went from Maryland to New York to North Carolina, and then it just spread all over the United States. Then each year from 2014 to now, I just ended up gaining traction. Bigger names started hitting me up. Bigger promotions started hitting me up. I travel on my own dime to all these promotions and perform on that microphone and just, hey, let me perform for this guy. I'm not asking for no money. Just let me rap. And I did it the old-fashioned way, man. Started from Roman Reigns to now. I just started that way. Now the Orange Cassidys and the Moxleys and the Brian Cages you see now, those are relationships I formed over the years, Those are relationships that I formed with the guys. So now, when I do these songs, they're like, oh, okay, that's Teasy doing his thing. When back in the days, I just had to go in these locker rooms, give my business cards, give my CDs, and put myself out there, put my name out there. So now these songs, I have a relationship with other companies, with the Impacts, the New Japans, the WWEs, the AEW. So now I have access. If anybody wants to use me for anything, I'm there. And I have direct access to making music for these guys. But that's how it all started. I started in the indies like any other wrestler would before I got to this point now.
Man, that's really an amazing story. Because like I said, Daryl, we've had multiple people come on there. This young man was in the trenches. You dig what I'm saying? Just like a worker would be. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Daryl, I think
ahead.
he might got you, man. Are you hearing this man rattle off dates, matches? That boy a historian too. Daryl, we might have to do you guys one-on-one in the trivia contest, baby. I think he got you beat, man.
Oh man, he's on point, man. But one of the big,
I don't want no smoke, man. I don't want no smoke. You got there with the library books, man. You over there. I don't want no smoke, bro. No problem.
No, but you on point, and the important point though is what music means to wrestling, right? I mean, I grew up in those days in the early '80s, right? Not everybody had a theme song, right? I grew up just people walking the ring in darkness, but when they started coming with the themes and how it added to the character. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, what does that theme bring out, and how does that accentuate the wrestlers?
Great question, man. See, I like you guys. I mean, you guys are on point. I love these questions. I didn't realize how important a theme song is to a wrestler's brand and how important a good song is until I really started doing it and really started seeing the reaction of people. I started to fall in love more with the reaction of the people in the audience more than the wrestler I was making the music for. over time, at first, I was like, oh, I'm making a song for this person. And I'd more see how they would react when they would come out, the wrestler or the character. As I started doing it, and I started really watching over these years, I started watching the people's reaction. And I recognized that if I picked the right music to make people stand up, clap, boo, whatever they were doing, I did my job. Because their natural reaction would be their reaction, whether the guy was a heel, a babyface, a tweener, whatever he or she did. I always tried to make music to be able to give them a reaction. So when you hear the song, that would be the important thing to me. I didn't realize how much important it was for the brands until you actually start hearing about songs that people don't like. You know, when people be like, oh, I don't like this song, this theme, something's missing. Or, you know, one thing about like the great Jim Johnston from WWE back in the days, he was the greatest at doing something. It seemed like everybody's music fit who that person was. You know, whether it was hip hop, rock, whenever you heard their music, Stone Cold's music sounds like what Stone Cold would be. You know, Kane, D-Generation X, The Rock. The music that you have back then of those wrestlers, Undertaker, it always matched the character. And I feel like nowadays it's not as current, it's not as strong. The songs don't stick out as much as they used to. Not saying anything because I didn't make everything. I'm just saying as far as music, it could be rap, country, whatever. It feels more generic now than it does back then, where a theme song would be the identity of the person because it added to who the person was. Like if you hear Randy Orton's theme music now, the Voices song, that They Talk to Me song, that goes directly with who Randy Orton is. That's why it hits so hard when you hear his music. That's why it hits so hard when you hear the Undertaker's gong go off. And it has to match it. It has to match the wrestler's identity, man. It has to match who they are. So if I'm making a hip hop song for Orange Cassidy, I would make something more upbeat, but knowing how he comes out and how his character is, he would just move the way he moves to the music. If I'm making something for Brian Cage, which I just did, it has to be more aggressive. It has to hit harder. It has to go right to the point. It has to have a lot of guitar. It has to hit hard. If I'm making something for Roman Reigns, it has to be more upbeat, nod your head and more catchy. You know, so it all depends on the person, the identity, and the reaction you're trying to get from the crowd.
Now there's a mix, right? We talk about music, and then we also have vocals, right? You know, back in the day, you know, you had the honky tonk man, you had the music, but you also had, in that case, he did it. You know, you got the guys doing the vocals. You know, in today's age, is it? You said it's changed. Is it because it's more music heavy and less vocal, or what are you seeing? Like is there an ingredient that's missing?
Yes, I believe that. How can I say this? I believe that even if it was rather CFOs or it was Jim Johnston back in the days, or Jimmy Hart who did Shawn Michaels music, you know, Jimmy Hart did so many people's music back in the days too. I just think that the music back in the days, it's not really the vocalists that are saying their own vocals. I think it just doesn't match an identity. I don't want to have to play a theme song for a WWE wrestler A, and then it sounds like it could be for wrestler D. Yeah. That it could be, if this theme song can be played for 4 or 5 different people, it's not a song that has an identity to it. That's right. You can't play a Stone Cold song and it be for anybody else. That song is ingrained in who he is. So you can't play that song and see Billy Gunn come out and have that same reaction. It doesn't fit Billy Gunn. You know, it has to. I think nowadays, the only critique I have is that some of the music, if you listen to a Seth Rollins song, it could fit 3 other people. You know what I mean? Yep. So it could fit different people. So I would just like for it to have more of an identity to the person, no matter what genre it is. Like let's use a big star. A Braun Strowman song should not sound nothing like anybody else's music. You know, he's a big star. He's who they're putting money behind. His music should sound totally different. That's why Bray Wyatt is my favorite wrestler. Bray Wyatt's music sounds nothing like anybody else. Yeah. His character is nothing like anybody else. You can tell Bray Wyatt sat down and literally thought about how his music should sound, how it should be, how it fits his character, you know? And that takes time to figure out. Back then, you had a guy like Jim Johnston who dedicated his time to these guys and dedicated his time to their sound. Nowadays, It don't really feel like that. They're going to different people for different things. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you might have a different ear. Different producers have different ears. So that's why it can sound like that. Jim Johnston was one direct person who knew the guys, who knew the wrestlers, who knew what they wanted, and dedicated his time to giving them that sound. That's why it doesn't sound as intimate as it once did.
Man, I'm glad you touched on all of that. I got so much to say behind that, but you're absolutely right. Back in the day, when we heard that Shawn Michaels, that beat drop before he even came off from Sexy Boy, you knew he was coming. When we heard I Am a Real American, when it hit, when you heard, all those songs, those fit those people, and it obviously caused the reaction before you even got out there. But you touched on something else, knowing the character. People, and I would say you too as well now, being a part of the business, sometimes we are in these Facebook groups and all that stuff. We might not comment because we know fans, you know how fans can be, but we watch. You know what I'm saying? We watch to see how it moves and what people like. And that's one of the biggest things talking about the music. I was on a page the other day and they're going crazy talking about, and this is not a knock because we're not trying to get anybody in trouble or anything, but they were talking about how like Seth Rollins' music sounds like Bailey's music. You know what I mean? Or they ripped Keith Lee's music and gave him a generic song. You know what I mean? So like you said, because I don't think CFO was working with WWE anymore. That's such a big thing for these characters. If I don't have a son, but I have a godson, if I take him to the show, I want my godson to pop when Undertaker's bell goes off. You know what I mean? I want him to feel good. Now, we still got that with AJ, but a lot of those guys, like you said, we don't have it. But with that being said, AEW, man, you're working with one of the hottest promotions going right now, man. The first time you heard your song while you was sitting at home, not when you was there, when you was sitting at home watching that TV, and you heard one of your songs come through, how did you feel, man?
Listen, man, there's three things in my life that like I'll never forget. You know what I mean? Like in relation to something in life, you know when stuff happens and they're like memorable moments in your life, like the birth of my kids, being there for the birth of my children, right? Getting my diploma when I graduated, and being there with my grandmother, with her being the first person that ever heard my Roman Reigns song, for her the first person to co-sign, and her giving me the money and say, hey, go to the studio and put this out. You know what I'm saying? And her helping me get this done. For us to say that we had the song played on the very first match in AEW history, when Sammy took on Cody Rhodes to open up the AEW promotion. And we literally were in the house, and my nerves was like through my system. I've never been that nervous in my life. Like, I mean, I'm a dad, and I'm not saying I'm a perfect father. Nobody's perfect, but I'm not even nervous with that as I was watching that show that night. That right there was crazy because so many emotions came through my mind. So many emotions came through my mind, like just thinking about the whole journey. Just come here and say, yo, this song is going to be the first or second song played in this company's history on cable television, and it's going to be a standout song people hear. Man, the emotions that went through my heart, man. You ever been like so excited you like can't cry? like you just have like these emotions, and I'm just like, it just dawned on me of everything we went through. The fact that me and my grandmother watched that together after this long journey, it meant everything to me. One of the greatest days of my life. I'll never forget it.
I can kind of imagine, because just real quick, I used to work with a musical group here in the Michigan area. And for years, I was doing my own thing, wrestling, acting and stuff. But when I managed them, and when I saw them first go out there and perform in front of a packed house and people going crazy, like you said, I could even cry. It felt like my sons had made it. Even though they weren't my kids, I felt as good for them as I did when I used to do stuff. Probably even better. So I can imagine how you felt, man, when that energy was just flowing through you, man. So you got these relationships with guys, man. Sammy, Guevara, Orange Cassidy, all of them. So what? They just pass your number around each other like, yo, call my dog. He's dope. Is that how it works?
It's been word of mouth, man, for 6 years, man. It's been word of mouth. Like if people don't know, I did that's that voice here on Big Swole's music too. That's my voice too. So when you hear Big Swole's music, that's me. That's me and her. You hear obviously you hear Sammy Guevara, that's me as well. That parody rap that the Miz and John Morrison did.
Whoa,
that parody rap.
That's my jam right there, baby. No, wait a minute, don't tell me that, baby. That's my jam. Word?
Yeah, the parody rap that they did, I co-wrote some of that. Yes, I did.
Yes.
So I've been around, man. I've imprinted myself inside the game, and we've been moving, man. Like it feels good. A lot of the guys know me. They know me around, and now Brian Cage hit me up, and Brian Cage was like, "Yo, man, I want to do this music video with you." So later this month, we're dropping Cage, Terminator on site, which is me and Brian Cage, an actual music video with him there. So I've been promoting the clips on that, with Brian being in the video with me. So we've been clicking, man. Like they just hit me up. I got a good relationship with everybody. Hey, man, it's about that time I get that TZ sound. And I cook. I go in the kitchen. I cook up, and I give them my ingredients, man, and they love it.
My God.
Now, let me ask you a question. I was going to say this for later, but I'm going to ask it now because I'm thinking about Hulk Hogan, right? And when Hulk Hogan already talked about a deal, he talks about two things, the money and the miles, right? In a situation like this,
right?
And obviously you're not going to talk about the money, but just to get an idea, because when we talked about CFO and Jim Johnston, and one reason why I think they're moving away from CFO is because they have to pay royalties to them for percentage. Or at least we've heard about that. With your music now,
right? Absolutely.
Do you have ownership of the music? Do you get, like, if there's an AEW video game, right, or if there's an AEW the album, are you going to get a little bit of a payday from that, or how's that work? I mean, about the details, right, but just in general.
Right. I mean, this is to help independent artists, so I won't go into full detail, but I will at least give them the game and directly answer your question to the best of my ability. I will say that if you're about your business, you definitely will get a percentage of what you put out there. You, the producer, if you made the beat yourself or whatever producer, you will make sure that you get your cut. You can definitely get your business if you're about it. If you're not about it, they will definitely take it from you. If you ask for it, they're going to give it to you. So that's how this industry is with the music and anything in wrestling related TV. When I spoke to the people through AEW or any other promotion, we talk about what the exclusives are. Do you own the music? If you don't, this is what it is. If you do, this is what it is. And a lot of people make the mistake because it's like the artists and the music industry, the entertainment industry they always prey on what you don't know. So if you know what you know and you bring it up, they have no problem giving it to you. Oh, okay, that's fine. But if you don't say anything, they won't give it to you. So I always tell independent artists that know what you're doing, know what to ask for, and they can't take it from you. It's your voice. So just ask for it. Just say, hey, this is what I want. Oh, okay, cool. Then they're going to go with the flow because they know what you're talking about. If you don't, and they send you the contract and you sign it, that's all on you. There's nobody's fault but you. They don't have to pay you for anything. But the more you know, the better it is, and they're not going to reject that.
Now, are you exclusive, or can you make money? Not money, sorry. The money's always on my mind, right? Can you make music for any group or any organization, or are you kind of exclusive to just one or two?
Nope, I am 100%. I am in a very, very unique situation. Due to my good standing in this entertainment industry with wrestling, I have the 100% availability and freedom to do WWE, AEW, New Japan, whatever. I'm one of the few that has that luxury just because of the relationship I've built, and because I can do, like, as people know, I do the WWE podcast, Swerve City Podcast, with Isiah Swerve Scott. I do the podcast with him every other week. And I also make music for AEW. I make music. I'm a mercenary of my talents until the right situation comes along. There's situations that come my way. Like a wise man said, you just don't jump everything on your table. Sometimes it's power in saying no the first time. And you just keep it moving. So I'm a mercenary with my talents right now. I can go anywhere freely that I want to go as far as making music, and own 100% of my material and my content. So if the right situation comes along, then I'm more than willing to go exclusive. But right now, I'm just doing my own thing.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Well, you touched on it right quick. I was gonna go there, but I'm glad you touched on it. We're gonna go ahead and bring it up. Working for the WWE their podcast. Now, how did that start, man? You over there working with Swerve, man. How did that happen?
Well, man, Swerve's my brother, man. He's one of the 2 or 3 people in this world I'll take a bullet for and not ask him for a return later, right? That is my brother. I love him to death, man. We've been working together business-wise for 3 years. We've known each other since 2015.
Okay.
So what happened was like I did with the CDs and the music. I wanted to start a wrestling podcast. At the time, it was called the Theme King Podcast. In 2017, I hit up Swerve and I said, "Hey, man, I would like to book you for an interview. Let me know the particulars of what you want to be compensated, and this is where you can meet me at the studio." And so I booked him. We went to the studio, and I did something, man, that I'm very, very glad that I did. I had a bunch of papers in my hand, right? So Let me give you the description. So I had a bunch of papers in my hand like this, I had a bunch of questions in my hand. And a lot of these questions were like wrestling related questions. So I had like a book of questions. So right before the interview starts, I just throw the papers away. And I said, I'm not doing it. I throw the papers away.
For sure.
And I talked everything music and life with him.
That's what's up.
And that ended up being the best decision I ever made because it made him more comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we ended up just talking music and life, about hip hop, life, and music. And the whole podcast was like that. I'm gonna post it on our YouTube channel one day of how we got started, so you can see how we originally got started in 2017. So after that, he said, "Yo, man, you got a great interview style. You want to team up? I'm thinking about doing a show called Swerve Talk on High Spots." So we ended up doing the show called Swerve Talk on High Spots. And we ended up having Sammy Callahan, LAX at the time, Moose, you name it. They were on there. Then obviously as his career grew and my career grew, he ended up signing with the E. The E already knew of us. The E already knew who I was. They already loved the podcast. So we just transferred and called the Swerve City Podcast. Woo. And we've been running it obviously for a year now in congruency with the WWE. So we have Drew McIntyre coming on in a week, the WWE champion.
I saw you had my girl on. You had my girl on there, man. Bailey Doe Straps.
Who?
My girl Bailey Doe Straps.
Bailey's the coolest, man. Bailey's the coolest, man. Bailey's the coolest, man. One of the most down-to-earth people you'll ever meet, man. One of the most down-to-earth people. Love her.
I love Bailey to death, man.
Well, man, I'm mad. I'm mad, Whip Dog, because you gave me the script to ask all these questions. I've been going line by line. Now he told me I'm throwing away the script. I'm throwing it away.
Throw the script away, man. We off the dome here, man. We off the dome, man.
Yeah, throw the papers away, man. Throw the papers. I love the organization, man. You can freestyle with me, man. You know, it's all over.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. But I'm glad you said it. By the way, I'm just saying, I'm throwing my hat in there too with you, bro. And I'll be on my own dime. So if you're ever doing a music video, I'm a former wrestler, and I can bump and I can talk. So if you ever need an extra in one of your videos, holler at your boy. I got you, dog.
Hey, Stella, brother. Hey, man, we got each other on Facebook, man. It's always open in the air, brother. You already know. Most
definitely. But I gotta ask you this.
If you got Sasha Banks in a music video, I'll do something. I'll figure it out.
Awesome. You feel me?
Not sure what I'll do, but I'll do something. I'll figure it out.
I do want to touch on this, man. You did kind of touch on it a little bit already, but to the young guys, since you're in the hip hop game and you know it's worldwide now, but we get so many, a million rappers. What would you tell the young guy that wants to rap or that's been doing this for a couple of years, how to break out and how to get themselves in front of other people, man? For real.
One thing I will say is that You have to find something that makes you unique. There's 15 million rappers out here, man. People from 10 to 100 years old is in the studio. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You have to find something that makes it unique to you. If someone's going to take out their credit card and buy your album for $9.99, what are they going to hear different from the other 15 people that's click on skip the next playlist? What is going to stand out about yourself that people can relate to? And this is why they say, like, making it as a rapper is a lot of time harder than hitting a lottery, because you have to figure out something. You have to constantly know the art of reinvention. I always tell younger artists, Prince is the perfect person to look at a reinvention. Prince put out 10 albums in a 10-year, 15-year period of 15, like 12, 13 albums. Prince did not look the same on any album. Prince always changed up something. It could be the hairstyle, it could be the clothes, it could be the way he performed, it could be the sound of the music, it could be something. He would change guitarists, he would change the drummers, he would change something every album. So nothing was the same. Nothing ever looked the same. So he would always have this distinct look or a distinct sound. So if he put out Purple Rain, then Sign of the Times, then Kiss, or whatever he did, nothing was the same. And as a rapper, you have to perfect that, because one, a rapper's shelf life compared to other genres is also very lower. I also recommend that as much music you can make clean without cussing is definitely a benefit, because it goes to more worldwide ranges.
Yeah.
And it also shows that your music can reach further places. If your music can still sound hard and aggressive without having to use the profanity, it shows a lot, you know? And also, too, know your image. Know, as a younger artist, know what you're in this for. I can't tell you how many people get interviewed and it's like, well, I just do this. Nah, man, tell us, know why you're doing it. Why are you making music? Why should a fan spend $9.99 on their album? Why should they spend 99 cents to buy your single? Why should they watch your video on YouTube? What makes your video standing in front of a car with no shirt on rapping different from the next video I'm gonna see with the next guy with his shirt on rapping in front of a car?
You give them jills, baby.
That's I was gonna say, that's just the beauty of an artist, of all arts, right? Like if you're talking about music, if you're talking about wrestling, you can't maintain the same, because people's times change, tastes change. You gotta adapt. You can still have what you're trying to put forth, but you gotta adapt. So I think that's important for all artists to hear out there, when it comes to
adaptation. Adaptation and reinvention is the key to lasting in the music industry. Adaptation is something like me. It's like I inspired Swerve to get in the studio. Swerve's mind of music is totally different from mine. His beat selection is totally different from mine. But I have no problem adapting to his world, because it's going to benefit me in the long run.
Right.
It gives people a different version of Monteasy that they might not have. Now, you get the chance to hear Monteasy on a more melodic, softer side that you might not hear on the wrestling, because the wrestling is always more upbeat and aggressive. Mm-hmm. So you might be able to say, look, I don't feel like hearing wrestling Monteasy. I feel like hearing Swerve City Monteasy. Or I feel like listening to solo Monteasy, where it's more soulful music. So you get an opportunity to adapt and change. I think the worst thing that people do is they become, they get in their own way. They get in their own way with their music career. They start believing that because it worked for 3 years, that by year 4 it might plummet to something else. And because it worked, just because it works doesn't mean it's the best thing for you. Sometimes it's always good to reinvent while something's working, because it shows that you're already ahead of the time. If you reinvent while something's working, then you're able to take it to a whole nother level. So I always tell artists, man, work on reinvention and work on adaptation. Be able to adapt to any situation. Like Jay-Z said, learn how to move. If you learn how to move in a room full of vultures, you will never go wrong.
It's funny you just touched on Hov. I literally about to say the exact same thing. You talking about a man that's 50 years old, been doing it since 26, and we still follow him. For what reason? Yes, it's the legacy, but Hov also was able to keep going to where he didn't come across as the old dude rapping. You know what I'm saying? Because he was able to maneuver and adapt with the time. So I'm totally in agreement with that, man. But I gotta say this. It's time for our next segment. Normally, we call this book yourself, but you're not a wrestler, so you can't book yourself. So my question I'm gonna ask you is a really straightforward question. Take the themes that you made. Don't put them in a picture. But what is your favorite theme song in wrestling ever?
Ever. If I could pick one, obviously, man, I think the greatest theme song in wrestling history is Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think that's the greatest.
Say it one more time. I missed that.
I think it's Stone Cold Steve Austin's, bro. I think that theme song, that glass shatter and that that does something. I don't know what it does to people, but that theme song. I mean, I think the greatest entrance in wrestling history is obviously The Undertaker, but the greatest song. Stone Cold's theme song, man, it's the most distinct, the most fitting theme song to a wrestler outside of what Hogan's was. Man, it's just, you know, you got Taker's original Dead Man out there. You know, a lot of people say The Rock's. Mm-hmm. Some people say, you know, Motorhead's Triple H. But Stone Cold Steve Austin's, man, is everything to me, bro.
Now, that was part one of this question. But part two is this. You being a person that creates music, and you've done it from a lot of superstars over time. But is there one guy out there that you really like, if I can make a song for this guy, it's going to kill the game? Tell me, it's got to be one guy out there that you haven't made a song for yet, that you want to just get your hands on and sink your teeth into his music or her music. Talk to me.
Great question.
Ooh. What a good question. Someone I really want to sink my teeth into.
Pause.
You know, as a kid, you wrote a theme song in your head for somebody. Come on, who would you want to get?
Like it right now, that's on TV or whatever. If you could just, if I could make a song for that person, whoa.
Wow.
And they could be
honestly,
they could be past or present. They could be past or present.
Okay, good. Right now, obviously, I would say Roman Reigns. Of course, Roman Reigns right now. Roman Reigns would be. And it doesn't have to be the one I made. It doesn't have to be the one. But I'm looking at it from a business perspective and knowing this man's always going to be on TV. Oh, yeah, definitely Roman Reigns. The past, man, I could have cooked up something crazy for like back in the day. Let me think about the time when hip-hop was really coming alive, too, in wrestling. Man, I could have cooked up something fire for like a young Rocky, like Nation of Domination Rock. I could have cooked something fire up for like a young Mark Henry, man, so many guys. I mean, a young Rey Mysterio at the time.
Okay.
Young Rey, WCW Rey Mysterio.
Ooh, okay.
Like WCW Rey, like but the person that I really feel like I could have done something fire for, and it was a short period of time, that 97, 98 skinny heel Eddie Guerrero with the long hair.
Ooh.
I could have made something flame for him. Back when he was feuding with Ray and he had on like the fire printed.
The long tights, and when he get with the singlet and everything.
That period of, when he just turned heel and he was he would just walk out real smooth and just look at people and wouldn't talk much. And he would just wrestle. He was in the cruiserweight division. Man, that Eddie Guerrero, I could have laid something. But that's honestly, like when we talk about like heels, that's one of my favorite heel periods of all time in wrestling. Okay. As far as him, that character, like my favorite heels and what inspired me to make music, I watched Hollywood Rock from 03. I watched It's Not My Fault Batista before he left to do movies. I watched 91, 92, Put the Snake on Macho Man's arm, Jake the Snake. That is like my ultimate heel. That is like the ultimate heel. I watched that Jake the Snake. That's sadistic Jake the Snake. That is my favorite heel of all time. And I watched that 97, 98 Guerrero. And that is like, if I can make music for any of them or like anything to do with that, I'm good.
Man, that's fire, especially that Batista, because I think they missed something when Batista turned heel and they left. They missed a boat there. They should have hired him for another year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that Batista. When he was coming out, then he had the spotlight on him, and amazing heel work. Amazing work. I love it.
I know I said it before, but I got to say it again. It shows that you really are not just somebody coming to get $1 in the wrestling world. You are a student of this wrestling, and you respect the business, man. And people that respect the business always do great in this. I mean, your knowledge is amazing, brother. I want you to know that, man, for real. And I love to see that, man, because as you know, because you've met the guys and you've seen all this, there's guys that come in, boom, grab $1 and they out. They don't care nothing about this. But you have the utmost respect for the business, the characters. I just want to say I love that, man. That's what's up.
Thank you, man. Is it okay if I one quick thing? Is it okay if I give you guys the exclusive here on your guys' show?
Oh yeah, do your thing, go.
So I was looking at the TV behind you right there. I believe behind you they're playing Josiah's joint for Sean Spears. And there's a song coming out on my album, Erica's Son, in November. There's a song called Greatest Ever with me, Isiah, and obviously if you guys know who Mega Ran is, he's the first one that started doing a lot of the hip hop theme stuff before Isiah and myself. So I was able to get those two guys to team up with me, and they're both on the same song with me on the album. So we formed Voltron again, and that is going to be an amazing song. My album just got done. So to have those two guys on the song, and it's not a wrestling related song because it's all of us just rapping, coming together. I'm glad that was able to happen. So I definitely give you guys that exclusive that will be on the album. It's called The Greatest Ever with me, Mega Ran, and Josiah Williams. So I'm excited.
That's what's up. Y'all just heard it. And didn't they just re-sign Josiah, man? I thought I read that.
I think they did. I think he's back. I believe he's back.
I thought I read it just re-signed him, man. That's what's up, man. Y'all heard that we got another exclusive on the Whip Show. But speaking of exclusives, Daryl, I think it's about time you know what to hit him with.
Before I ask my question, actually I want to add something to yours. I want to add a C. Okay. Because we talked about theme songs and wrestlers and you know artists with your music. What about movies or movie characters? Is there a movie character, you talk about Black Panther, it can be, superheroes, Star Wars, whatever. Is there a movie character that you said, man, for this John Wick, I don't know, I could create something around him that would light a fire for this guy?
Great question. I've always been a fan of I'm a fan of the heels because I feel like the antagonists add so much to the story. You know what I mean? Even though they're not meant to survive at the end a lot of the times, and the good of common decency always prevails in the movies. I would love to have written something for the Heath Ledger Joker. I would have loved to.
Ooh. Okay.
Just because of that dimension of that character, of Bane, the last Batman movie that Bane was in. I forgot the guy's name who played that character. He played the hell out of that character.
Tom Hardy.
Absolutely. Pardon me for the namesake. Who else? Killmonger would have been a dope one. Because necessarily he wasn't wrong. Thanos is another one because technically Thanos is not wrong in his thesis on what he's talking about. Is that he went the wrong way about it. But he wasn't wrong in what he was fighting for. Thanos wasn't. So it's crazy because there's so many guys. I would love to go in a different world and do something more abstract for a Jack Sparrow. You know what I mean? From Pirates of the Caribbean. Just different type of characters that I really enjoyed people played that I could write something for in a movie. If it's something more human being-ish, where it's just like who they are just as people, I would have my type of thing, I would have loved to make music for White Men Can't Jump, like Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. I would have loved to do something for that. Just because that's that kind of movies that I like to watch. So I would love to make a theme song for that kind of movie, or Money Train, or
I swear to you, my God, dog. That's White Man Can't Jump is my movie. I gotta ask you, because if you say this, I'm really rocking with you. Did you like Baby Boy?
Did I like Baby Boy with Tyrese?
Yeah. Oh. He didn't like it.
I
He didn't like it. That's my movie, man. I'm sorry.
Listen, I liked it. Listen. Look, I liked it. I just felt like they like. Remember there was a time on BET where that's all they played.
Oh well, yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's
I get
the
that
only movie
part.
that they owned. Like 9 o'clock, Baby Boy, 10 o'clock, Baby Boy. Like I mean, that's all they played. But yeah, I love Baby Boy. I love the movie. I love what Tyrese what he played, what he represented. A lot of black men could relate to that.
Yeah.
Character. A lot of black men can relate to that character, and he played the hell out of that character. So I think just for what he acted, what he was doing, a lot of black men grew up in that kind of environment. So it had to kind of reprogram themselves. So it was definitely that's another one too, for sure.
Now, Daryl, if you want to go ask your question, I'm gonna finish off with mine.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Finish yours and I'll ask mine. Go finish yours.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you touched on that, talking about the black men thing, because obviously we got everything going on with the Black Lives Matter movement. Black people are way more in the forefront visually than we ever been in all facets of entertainment, even including pro wrestling. Because as you know, since you go back, it wasn't a whole lot of us back then. We had Junkyard Dog, we had Coco, we had a couple, but now we got the New Day. I mean, we got tons of them. You got your boy Swerve, we got Cedric Alexander, and we got the Hurt Business. You know what I'm saying? How does it feel being part of that as a black man, man, and moving forward? And do you really see the progression and growth as black people in the wrestling industry and in the music and entertainment industry as a whole?
Yes. I'm very, very proud, man, to see us as black men and black people, whether it's Naomi, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, that side of the spectrum, the Hurt Business, Isiah Swerve Scott. I mean, like you named. I mean, you even have a Isiah who's with WWE now, you know, and him breaking new ground for what he's doing. You know, people in different forms of their careers and different forms of spectrums of what they're doing. It says a lot, man. It says a whole lot to be involved in this and have a part in watching this grow. Because there was a time when it wasn't many of us, man. It wasn't many of us. You was the most you could probably get was tag team champ, and you wasn't even there long. You know, then you get Intercontinental champion for a little bit. You know, for a little bit. Back then, the black guy was getting Intercontinental championship. That's the most he would get. And then now they're starting to sprinkle a little bit once a blue moon. You know, was getting the heavyweight title, but it just doesn't. It didn't feel like it was the main belt. You know what I mean? So now there's more opportunities to watch guys really, really excel. They have a plethora of talent in the WWE now, from the Street Profits to, I mean, so many African American figures on television that it says a lot, man. And I wish the best for everyone out there that's doing that thing. Shout out to me and shout out to Cedric Alexander, man. I'm proud of him. That's my brother. I love him. And just watching what he's doing, watching him actually go through the storm and actually him doing what he's about to do now. Now we're about to see the breakthrough of Cedric. And I'm very, very proud of him for that. Shout out to my sister Swole. Love you to death, sis. Everything she's doing in AEW, being, you know, Nyla Rose, my homie. A lot of people in the industry. Amber Rodriguez, who's in an up and coming in the independent circuit. They're all putting in work, and I'm glad to be a part of this. You know, even musically or whatever part I play, I'm just glad to be involved.
Factual. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Daryl, go ahead and talk to him.
Yeah, let me. So first thing we talked about, white men can't jump, man. I fell in love with Rosie Perez. I'm a married guy. That's my exception right there. It's
Talk about it. Talk about it, good sir. Let's talk about it, good sir. Talk about it, good sir.
That's my exception.
Talk about it, good sir.
Well, I got it on paper. I got one exception. So there we go. And you talk so much about the music and the characters. I enjoyed your answer about the movies and all of that, because I think that's what's missing right now from the business is that whole character. It's not just, it's the interview, it's the manager, it's their outfits. Like everybody looks the same. Everybody's got a beard and black leather tights. You know, they look the same. It's having that individualistic aspect. And I think that's missing, and you touched on that so much. talking about characters, you know, when you're making it behind the scenes in his locker room, and this is kind of getting into the question I always ask. You've seen these characters on TV. Now you're in the locker room. Now you're passing CDs out. You're signing up people. You know, you're in the locker room. Is there a moment where you're sitting next to somebody or talking to somebody in that locker room and you go, oh my God, and you're marking out? Maybe you don't express it, but you're like, I cannot believe I am here with X person. And if so, what was that moment?
The podcast now, it opened doors in that way. I started to feel, it took me a while to feel like I belonged to doing it. Because when I was in the indies in the locker room and stuff like that, it was passing out CDs, and I was so focused that if I walked by like a Kevin Sullivan and stuff like that, it would hit me like, damn, this is Kevin Sullivan just walking around saying, hey, what's up, man? And we're just talking. Or Jimmy Hart, you know what I mean? All these legends that would just walk around. Sonny Ono, you know what I mean? You could have like conversations with these people. Then it really started hitting me how far that I came. Like when we interviewed Cesaro, guys that I grew up watching, that's when it started to hit. Like people within my same age demographic or something, like it hits. But we interviewed Kofi. When we interviewed Cesaro, those two, it really, really opened my eyes. Like, wow, like the room like stood still for a second. Like, well, I can't believe I'm here. Like, these people I used to watch on TV, and I get a chance to interview them and ask them questions, and the WWE is like cool with me doing it. Yeah. And like they know who I am. And for them to be like, yeah, you can interview whoever. And just interview these guys and us talk hip hop, and I'm talking hip hop with Cesaro, and he's telling me about his favorite rap CDs, and oh man, you should check this out. We're exchanging like rap songs to check out. I was like, this is where in the world, like, where does this come from? Like, no. Like, and I think about the time to be in 2014. It was 30 degrees outside. It was snowing, and I'm standing out there with a hard 8-ball jacket on and a CD that said Monteasy Roman Reigns. And just to see how far I've come from that to now, I don't take none of it for granted. And it's crazy how things have happened. I just, man, those are my true mark-out moments. Was sitting next to Kofi Kingston and Cesaro. I knew like, wow, our brother's here now.
Fat. Ooh, that's what's up, man. Blessed, man. Blessed up right there, bro. Woo! We can't keep you here all night. We done had a ball with you, man. We can't keep you here all night. But we do want to ask this question right quick. What should we look coming forward with Monteasy, man? What's coming down the pike, baby?
Oh, man, thank you, man. Thank you, thank you guys for the time. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to come on this awesome show with you guys. And hopefully this is not the last time. And we can chop up game and talk about things in the future, man. I definitely will be looking to bring you guys for the pipeline for the music video thing. Don't think I forgot about that. That definitely.
Hey, I'm with it. We there, baby. We there.
That definitely is something that I will definitely have in my Rolodex. So that definitely didn't go by the wayside of you saying that. Man, there's so much happening, man, with me right now. First, I want to get all the advertisements out of the way. Swerve City Podcast. We just had Shotzi Blackheart on there. Me and Swerve will be introducing and interviewing Drew McIntyre next week on the show. The current WWE champion will be on our podcast. YouTube.com/Swerve City Podcast. The Twitter, hit us up on Swerve City Pod on Twitter. I mean, so much happening, man, with the podcast. Me and Swerve are finishing up our second album together. It's called GPS. And that album will be out Thanksgiving Day. My solo album, Erica's Son, will also be out the same day. So it's almost like a double disc album. A Love Below speaker box, Andre 3000 Big Boy type thing. And we're going to put both albums out on the same day together as kind of like a double disc thing for people to check out. We have R Truth on the album.
Woo!
We have last album we had Leo Rush on the album. This album we have R Truth. We have Juice from the Flatbush Zombies on the album.
Nice.
You have Josiah Williams on the album. You have Mega Red on the album. So there's a lot of names on there, man, that has come out, man. And you know, there's talks, you know, we might have MVP come out of retirement and might do something on the album. So we have a lot of great features on the album, man, that we're pressing for. There's a lot of WWE people that are in the back that you wouldn't think can sing or produce that's on the album.
I don't want to cut you off, man, but you just made me think of something. Since I know, like you just said, there's a lot of people in the back that can spit. I know I heard back in the day that Jake Hager likes hip hop. I don't know if he spit, but I think Matt Hardy do a little something. I think Carlito used to do a little something back in the day, MVP. Throw off some of them names out there that people that spit in the back that people don't know they can do a little something on the flow game.
I know Carlito. Carlito could do a little something. Rikishi was nice. If Rikishi took it serious, he definitely could have, because he was nice.
Okay.
Who else was somebody else that could spit? Sanjay Dutt, obviously. DJZ. DJZ now. I forgot his name in WWE. I keep forgetting his name. I'm sorry. Formerly known as DJZ in Impact. A lot of guys, man, can rap, can spit. Who else has a great ear? MVP has a great ear for production. Cedric Alexander has a great ear for production, surprisingly. Guys who have like great ears. Cesaro has the most underrated hip hop knowledge I've ever met in somebody. You would not think he knew as much about rap as he did. But Cesaro is an encyclopedia of hip hop.
Wow.
And
The gimmick change for Cesaro, man. Can you imagine him coming out, man?
Man.
Yeah, man. He surprised me. He surprised me when we were talking. Like he surprised me. So yeah, man, we're cooking. I mean, in other news, man, I'm dropping on the 25th, man. It's Caged. Me and Brian Cage are dropping a song, Terminate on Sight, man. I'm excited for this music video. We just shot it a couple days ago. It was a lot of fun to do. So Terminate on Sight will be out very, very soon. I have something from Moxley in the cut that'll be coming out later. I have something in the cut also as well that I've been working on for Jericho off and on too, called The Judas Effect. So there's a lot of tracks. A lot of people know what's coming as far as the not only the talent, but everybody involved in AEW as well. Me and AEW have a very dope relationship. Shout out to them. And yeah, man. So that's what's happening on the music tip, podcast tip. One last announcement. I will definitely let you guys know, everybody know that I will be going back to my motivational speaking roots very, very soon. Okay. The COVID, has shut down a lot of things. And no matter what these dudes might say, I'm not getting into politics right now, contrary to what we might see on TV. I'm not popping up at everybody's school right now during this. So I am going to take my time. I'm not really a big fan of virtual school or virtual motivational speaking. I'll do like motivational speaking clips, but like teaching and stuff, I got to be hands-on with the people. I touch the people, be one, take pictures with the people, be one with the kids. My demographic more goes to the 9th and 12th graders, 9th through 12th, that age group right before it's time to be adults, because I can have that real talk with them. And I don't have to worry about keeping their attention like you have to do with kids. So that, I would definitely be getting back to motivational speaking. Any information on that, monteasytv@gmail.com. Anything Swerve City Podcast related, swervecitypodcast@gmail.com. And hit me up at TZ Scott on Instagram, Twitter. And and everybody that's watching this great podcast, man, stream that Sammy Guevara and let's get to these 1 million streams, man. I need that 1 mil, baby.
Y'all heard it. You heard the man. You heard it. Stream it now. Let's go. Do it. Daryl, you got something else for this young man?
Man, no, man. Like I said, man, he's been all in, and I don't mean that just as a phrase. He's been all in today, and like I said, I really appreciate what he's bringing to characters, because, like I said, it's really something missing from the business, and I just want to see him, carry that forward. So, excited to have you as a guest today.
That's what's up. Well, like I said, we had a great show, but it's time for the very last segment before we get out of here. And this segment is called Ring the Bell. What you do with Ring the Bell is we give you 60 seconds. You can say anything. You can give an inspirational quote. You can promote again. You can just say something wild. But whatever you want to do, Monteasy, you got 60 seconds. Ring the bell.
One thing I want to tell you guys is stay forward, stay current in what you want to do. Stay digital, stay diligent, stay motivated. Never give up on your dreams. Keep pushing. If you're a wrestling fan, you are just as important as the person stepping from behind that camera. Keep supporting wrestling. Love wrestling. Stick together with wrestling. We are a cult unit, and we have to stick together. If you disagree with anything in this world with wrestling, move forward. Fellow black men, stick together. Let's stick together, black men. Black men, squash all beefs. Let's come together. We have to stick together now in this world with everything going on. If it's not important and that man did not try to take your mama out, get over it. And, let's stick together as black people. Let's come together in this world universally. Let's stick together for what we plan on doing in this world. Let's make a direct impact. Let's love each other. And make sure you guys follow this wonderful podcast and what these guys going on. These two wonderful black gentlemen right here are doing something amazing. These guys deserve the world. They have everything going on right now that I see that is their platform is amazing. Please subscribe to their channel. Show love to their channel. Anything these guys need from me, I am there for them. I'm only a message away. And God bless you guys.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. And same to you, man. Like I told you earlier in the show, I love what you're doing out here, man. Energy. You respect the business, but you're doing it as a strong black brother, man. You have not conceded that strong black man for money. You stay true to who you were, and you're doing your thing. And that's what I respect more than anything, dog. Real talk. But
bless, King. Blessings, King. Thank you.
For sure, man. With that being said, Daryl, we done had another great show, dog.
Man, like I said, every guest we've had on here has respect for the business, like you said, but also they love the business. It's not just a payday. It's like they love it. They watch it. They're fans. They're proud of it. So and he's been keeping that line going, man. I appreciate everything you're doing. This has been great.
Salute, man. Salute. Well, guys, y'all know what it is. How to get a hold of us. We on the show each and every Friday. You can follow our podcast, The Whip Show Podcast, on Anchor, Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast at. And like I said, if you want to watch the video, you can watch it on YouTube. Just put in The Whip Show Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at The Whip Show Podcast. And if there's a guest that you want on the show, that you want us to reach out to, hit us up, thewhipshowpodcast@gmail.com. We're going to get on out of here. You know what it is. Oh, like they said, subscribe, follow. You know what to do. It's YouTube. It's podcast. You know what to do. Follow us. But you know what it is. I am Deshaun Whip Dog Whipple and
Devastating Daryl Pace.
And we had the big homie Monteasy in the building. We will see you next time on the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders Podcast, a.k.a. The Whip Show. Take care, y'all. Done. Perfect, dog.
Yep. Excellent. I'm not going to stop it for the drop. Yep.
Well, we good, man.
Okay.
Word, man. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for that, man. That's love, man.
Man. We had a great time, man. And like I said, we're going to put this up next. It'll be up next Friday, man. So,
bless, man. Thank you. I'll definitely be sharing it, promoting it, and putting it out to the streaming verse, man. Have people check it out, man. You guys got something special here, man. Please keep